And welcome back to another Board Crazy Top 10. I am D, and as I always am, well, usually at least, I'm joined by these two.
I'm Graham.
And I'm Will.
Yes.
An expert on all things board game artwork.
Well, that's convenient, Will, because today we're doing our top 10 best-looking games that we've played. Probably worth pointing that out. This list was not strictly restricted to games that we have played on the channel. Although, curiously, all the games that got votes are games that we played on the channel. I suppose that's a symptom of us trying to play games that show well, I guess, as opposed to just whatever we want. Let's get started. There are no ties this week, at least not, there's no like 11th tie for 10th or anything like that. So I guess we should explain the rankings, because we've only done it once.
Yeah.
So we each do our individual top 10 lists. Games get points, then based on their positioning from 10 points down to 1. Then we can accumulate them, and we add them up, and that's how we figure out the top 10.
Yeah.
So, with a apparently controversial choice to start here at number 10, my number 4 game, which received 7 points then, it's Heaven and Ale. Right there.
What is this crap?
Well, who's the artist?
I want to flip the table, but I can't because it's nailed to the floor.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just really weak then.
Yeah.
The art was done by Christian Fiore, or Fiore.
Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. This is not necessarily our top 10 most beautiful games or anything like that, or best produced games, just best looking. So I'm incorporating style.
Yeah, it's also subjective. Yeah.
It's very subjective. I am a sucker, that being said, for like medieval European sort of artwork, like where like obviously like the technical aspects of it are not A+. I just think there's like a charm to it though, and that is, I mean, if you can see the box, that's sort of what the entire game goes for. It's not what I would call it's not a particularly pretty game. Lots of brown, a fair amount of green, but it's not super dynamic. I just really love the art style, and I think it does it very well.
For me, I just didn't feel it was a top 10, but
It's middle of the pack for me as well, Graham. I would say, like, it falls into that. Maybe definitely not top 10. However, I will say towards the end of the game, the player boards, as they fill up with like the different tokens, they do get quite colorful.
It is true.
But the main board is a lot of brown. There is a lot. I agree with Dee though that stylistically it does evoke its theme of like a monk brewery.
That's fair.
And so in that effect, it is very, very well done.
We're a channel. We work together. It was one of these favorites, and that's why it's on the list.
Yeah, we indulge him.
Your number 10 game was tic-tac-toe, and I was like, no, Graham.
How did neither of you have tic-tac-toe on the list?
So that's number 10. Number 9. So if I had controversial choices, I mean, maybe Graham does too. This is Graham's number 3 ranked game on his list with 8 points. It's a game we played recently, Ecos, First Continent. Interesting choice, I'll be honest.
It was interesting, I think, because I think as far as the gameplay, at least I think me and Will were a little bit underwhelmed by it. But I'm not gonna. I love the way the game looks. It's got some really interesting pieces. I love the wood trees and the mountains and stuff like that. The fact that it comes with a nice canvas bag that you get to draw from, and the tiles when it's all done and put together, your world. It actually, I think, looks really cool. It looks like your own little ecosystem.
Yeah, it's got animals.
Yes, the art of the animals. I like that they went with like a more realistic bent on them instead of like a more stylized, like kind of like evolution.
They are.
Because then you're right, when the map is filled up with animals and mountains and trees and location tiles, it kind of looks like you've created your own ecosystem.
And because I think the theme of the game actually worked really well for the mechanics. You actually see like mountain ranges and forests and deserts and stuff like that. So I thought they did a really good job at making the game look very cool.
Sure.
It also evokes its theme. Like, I think that's one thing that both those games that we've already gone over do is really nail the theme.
And I think you probably say that about our number 8 game.
Yeah.
Which is another one that only appeared on one list, Graham's again. Graham, your number 2 game, which did not appear on any other list.
I know,
so
I'm still surprised by this.
It gets 9 points. It is...
we should have mentioned the artwork in Ecos First Continent. It was done by Sabrina Miramon and Matt Paquette, yes.
That being said, our number 8 game, Graham's number 2 game, GKR, Heavy Hitters. That game I pretty much backed on Kickstarter just because of the way it looked.
Yeah?
I mean, it was expensive.
It has a look, yes.
But the pieces are so cool. When you pull up the minis and they're like this tall, and you got these tall surrounding buildings and stuff, and the city, it just...
I don't not get it. I understand why you like it.
Yes.
I think Will and I have similar complaints about this. How it looks, though, at least.
It only looks as good as you're willing to make it look.
Well, they give you decals and stuff to make it look really cool.
Exactly. But
I don't want to have to make my games look nice.
Yeah, well, these like me, it's just like, make it But I get it. You know, I think there is validity. I think it's a really good looking game, especially the mechs. The mechs are incredible right out of the box.
Yeah, and having the buildings, or, you know, that's neat. You have to, like, kind of, like, navigate around them and stuff.
Yeah.
The skyscrapers and such. Yeah.
It is cool to give you all those stickers so you can put on the buildings. You can decorate that game as much as you want. You could even modify the mechs with paints if you wanted to. Probably the game's biggest strength is that someone who's a little bit more creative, who's willing to go that far, can make the game look like that much better.
Yeah. Out of the box, a lot of gray. So,
But the mechs.
Those mechs are
it's
crazy. Definitely a top 2 mech.
We should actually just like take the mechs out and just set them up like along the top of our shelf here because they're that cool.
Sure, let's get the decals and just put them on stuff.
We can do that too.
So I should mention that the art in GKR Heavy Hitters is done by Larry Greer, Christian Pierce, and Paul M. Tobin. So,
good job. I think that's the last game on our list, though, that only showed up on one list. The rest of them show up at least on...
At least 2, yeah. So number 7, a game that was my number 6th ranked game, and Will's number 7th ranked game, which earned it also 9 points, but because it's on 2 lists, it gets priority. It's Root. Who did the art, Will, before we forget?
Kyle Farron.
Kyle Farron. Okay, so this is... I'll be honest, my initial draft of this, I did not have Root on my list. So you can kind of look at it at a glance, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily look great. But I feel like when you get up close with that game and really look at all like the little details, that's when I kind of fall in love with it. So even like the colors aren't like they don't pop necessarily, but there's all it all like looks like it's hand drawn. Presumably it is. I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
But it's all like the cute little cartoon animals running around in their little houses and stuff.
I feel like we had to have one. Is it Leader or Letter Games? I always get that wrong. I think it's Leader.
Maybe it's Later.
I'm going to say Leader Games.
It could be German.
Kyle Farron, he does all the art for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like we had to have one of his games on here because his art is so cute. Well, no, because those games have become so iconic in a way. Like they stand out because of that unique art style that they have. It is definitely like cute, but you're right. It also I actually disagree with you. I like how muted the colors are.
Well, I just like it. It may not be obvious, like I don't know how well done it is. It's all there's something like nostalgic about the art style for me too, like a children's book almost kind of look to it. That brings me back.
Actually, it's funny. My first draft I had Root on the list, and so it was close to making my list. But and there were just a few other games I felt were more deserving of to be on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another game with really cool like wooden pieces that add a little bit more dimension to the game.
Yeah, there's a charm to it.
Yes.
So that's
number 7.
Number 6. The first of 4 games to appear on all 3 of our lists. My number 10 game, Will's number 4 game, Graham's number 9 game, earning it 10 points. This is Yamatai by.
It's Days of Wonder, but the artwork was done by. I'm just gonna say Jeremy Fleury. Because it's French, so it has all these accents on the Jeremy.
Jeremy Fleury.
Essentially, it's Jeremy Fleury.
Okay.
That's his name.
The only Days of Wonder game to appear on our list, or any of our lists, I think.
Surprising, because I always think they make really
That's the thing with Days of Wonder. I think they make very well-produced games, but I feel like there's sort of there's like a uniformity to their style. Lots of like bright primary colors that I think they just aren't exciting a lot of the time. Yamatai is very much the exception, I think, to that. Very different color palette, lots of purples and pinks and like oranges, obviously blues and greens. I mean, you can see it just from what you can see there. Like the whole game kind of looks like that. Beautiful character art.
The specialists in that game.
All the gods and goddesses from Japanese mythology. Yeah, it's a great looking game.
It's one of those games where I always look at it and I'm like, why don't we bring that one to the table more? Like it's also a really good game.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's a really pleasing game to look at, and so I'm always like, the game looks awesome, and I want to go play it, and I'm like, it's a little more complicated. Let's go with something a little bit easier.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we don't have the time to. But it's something we probably should play.
When that game is done, when a session of that game's done, you're looking, and there's all the arches and other structures and all the colors. It's almost maybe a little too crowded with color, but it doesn't matter. It's so visually satisfying
and stunning,
it's just a really beautiful, beautiful game. Great color scheme.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay, so that's the bottom half of the list done. Moving into the top 5. Scoring 13 points. This is Will's number 2 overall game. This is Graham's number 7 overall game. Did not make my list. We have Wingspan.
Wingspan. The art by Ana Maria Martinez Jaramillo, Natalia Rojas, and Beth Sobel.
Okay.
This is one of the more impressive games when it comes to the details that they've included into their components. Like when you look at the cards and it tells you little, I think, like facts about the birds that are on these cards. Yeah. Like the little map that highlights what regions of the world the birds are from. And then not only that, you have a really like pretty color scheme with the pastel colored eggs and stuff. They're really high quality components, which, you know, from Stonemaier is always expected, and so it wasn't a letdown in that sense. It was very it was
and there's a verticality as well to this game. It didn't need it. It could have just been a card drafting game. You know, it didn't necessarily they didn't need to put in like a birdhouse dice tower
you're right.
And like eggs. You could have just given us like cardboard egg things instead of actual like, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been easy, but then they added the verticality, so there's dimension to the game. And then yes, the bird cards. There's hundreds of them. They're all, for the most part, uniquely drawn.
Yeah.
And they're just gorgeous. And yes, the amount of research. I had to put it really high on my list because I was blown away by the cards and just the amount of detail. And the fact that, again, they didn't stylize them. It's like realistic looking art. It's still beautiful in its own way. And I walked away learning something too. I had no, I'm not an ornithologist or whatever it's called. So
sure, no need.
I mean, obviously, but yeah.
I think it's a really good looking game. It was probably like my number 11 or 12 probably. So
yeah.
it was close to making the cut. I don't know. Just I feel like didn't wow me as much as some other games did. I do love the bird stuff though. I am obviously a big like animal person.
Let's move on to a different publisher.
Number 4. If only we had mech games on this list. Number 4, getting 16 points. My number 3 game. Will's number 3 game. Graham didn't rank it. It's Scythe. Who did the art, Will?
Jakub Rozalski.
Yes. All right, so we did. Okay, so Scythe. I don't think we have to defend this one, really. Graham has his opinions. He's allowed to have his opinions.
I said it was really close to me. It was like my number 11 or 12 game. I think I put Wingspan. I was like between Scythe and Wingspan as like, because I don't want to have too much Stonemaier in there. You know?
Hey, you got to give credit where credit's due.
But like I said, I was close to making my list, but I didn't make it.
I feel like Scythe is kind of another one, kind of like Heaven and Ale for me, where maybe it's not beautiful in the most obvious ways. Like, you know, I mean, it's obviously set in a war-torn Eastern Europe.
Well, it's like a post-war.
Yeah, there's a darkness to it.
Yes.
Definitely. Maybe not a griminess, but, you know, it isn't like a bright and beautiful game. But I just think as far as how it looks, you get the mechs, awesome. All the board art with, the, you know, the various terrains, I think looks fantastic.
The card art. For all the encounters, it's all unique and very detailed, like highly, like little tiny details.
Yeah, it's like I think we mentioned this in our review for Scythe, but maybe I did that. You know, it's rare that you find a game and you're like, okay, this world they've created seems like it could be franchised.
Yeah,
you know, like this is like an IP you can do other things with, and I think Scythe, it's that good, it's that evocative, all the art in that game and the look.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I agree. I think its most impressive quality is how it evokes its theme and its story. You're right. I think it's one of the best looking board games ever produced. So
sure, it's not. I mean, the mechs aren't as good as the mechs in GKR. I'll give you that. Yeah, the mechs in GKR are the best we've seen. That's the best part of the game, probably. But top 3 coming up. These are all 3 of these games appeared on all 3 of our lists. So you know, there's not much argument here. Starting at number 3, tied with Scythe on points actually at 16, but again getting the edge because it appears on all 3 lists. My number 5 game, number 6 for both of you. It is Photosynthesis, art by
a game that I will not say the name of because I have a speech impediment. The art was by Sabrina Miramon.
Oh,
so she did Ecos and she did Say it, Will. She did this game, and you know, so nature seems to be her forte.
I guess,
and she's really good at creating compelling nature.
I would say she did better with this one. There's not much in this game as far as like stuff.
Yes,
it's just trees and a board, kind of. And you have your player stuff, but like as far as like stuff you're looking at, it's mainly the trees. But the trees themselves are good enough that they alone kind of carry.
Like, after the board is done and you have all these trees growing, it looks like a forest.
It does.
It does, and they're all like cool. It's
like a little bonsai forest you made there.
Yeah, and you got all the different colored trees in there of different sizes and stuff, and it makes sense that the bigger trees are in the center and they kind of get smaller as it goes out, and it's on top of that, the sun that kind of moves around the edge of the board. It's just a really cool game to play just because of how it looks and how it works.
It's definitely one that impressed me for a multitude of reasons. I think the color scheme that they went with showed a surprising amount of restraint. Like there could have been a lot more vibrant. Like if you, I don't know if you guys remember exactly, but the blue is blue, but it's not like none of the colors really pop, but all together when they're mixed, it's compelling to look at without like hurting your eyes. It's actually a really impressive amount of restraint because it still manages to be bold and beautiful without being like overwhelming. I think that's important because I'm a big contrast guy. I like contrasting colors, and they did an impressive job with a game that has as much color as it does. And then also I really appreciate that the game can appeal to a broad age range. Because some of these games we talked about, really like an older audience would appreciate the art more than a younger one. But this is the game we're talking about right now is a game that everyone can enjoy of all ages. It's true. Of all ages. So
it doesn't just coast on its looks either. It's a really good game too, which helps. But yeah, no, that's great. Now, we've got a pretty big jump here for our last two. Up to number 2 with 23 points. 7 clear of third place. My number 1 game, actually. Will's number 5 game. Graham's number 4 game. It is Inish. Where are you, Inish?
It's somewhere around here. Oh, it's down here.
Pull it off the shelf. Fine, don't. I don't care. Man, that game.
Get out of here, Scythe. No one wants you.
Hey, look at it. Just look box art. Oh,
they're coming out with a new one too.
It's on back. It's on upside down.
Yeah, it is on upside down.
Oh, I hate. Let's fix that in a moment. But good God, this game. It's one of the first games we played on the channel, and I think we kind of peaked as far as like the look. The art is amazing. Who's it by? Did you say?
Nope. The art in this game was designed and created by Dimitri Belak and Jim Fitzpatrick.
Okay. Look at those. Look at those. Those are my favorite board pieces we've ever used. They're so cool. They're so beautiful. I mean, the shape is fantastic. This is kind of a mess in here right now, actually. We should clean this.
We should play it.
We should. I do want to play it. We probably will play it sometime soon.
Just how these pieces fit together, it's like fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, but like you get like the card art, like it's all like. What do you guys think?
I love it too. Honestly, I would have picked this game just on the box art itself.
Yeah.
Like, the creators of this game, the artists, the designers, everybody who was involved in this game's production, you can tell the amount of enthusiasm and passion and love they felt for Celtic lore as well. It's not just that the game looks good, it also, again, it's another one that oozes its theme, tries to tell a story, and you might even actually learn something again by playing it if you don't know anything about Celtic lore.
You'll learn how to pronounce Inish.
Yeah.
It's just to cover the
stunning.
Yeah.
The rule book.
Every piece of this looks great. Even the insert has its own custom art. Okay. Well, that's somehow only number 2 on our list. Wow, you guys. What is wrong with you? Oh, I see. So our number 1 game. This is almost a unanimous pick. This was my number 2 game.
But yeah, D has
you guys both had it at number 1. So we got a 29 out of 30 possible points.
It's right under Quantum.
It's right under Quantum. It's Everdell. There it is.
Yep, Everdell. Art by Andrew Bosley and Dan May. Woo! Dan with 2 N's.
Now,
Everdell
is one of those things. I think one of the issues that I had with Everdell is I thought that the tree was a little bit. It was like novelty, right?
It is,
but it helps it make it want to be one of the best looking games.
It's extremely
novel. The tree does not look bad.
No,
I don't think it's very functional, but it doesn't look bad.
No,
in fact, it looks quite good. I think. Are you going to assemble it for us?
It's fun and engaging to look at. And as you're playing the game, you're having fun with it. Is it an annoyance at times? Sure.
I mean, yeah, it's not great for
visibility. But you get over it pretty quick.
You do, because of the way it looks. It's like when...
Oh, it's neat.
Like, D, when you were saying about Root and how it kind of like... I may have broke it.
I hope you didn't.
Nope. It's perfect. Look at that tree.
Exactly how it's supposed to look.
Perfect.
What are you saying, Graham? Finish your sentence.
But it's one of those games that's like... Even though it doesn't have, I didn't like play it as a kid. I almost get nostalgia opening up this game and setting up the tree and stuff like that. It's so charming with all the like, the world that you kind of build around it. I think it's like the river that.
What happened?
I don't know.
I thought there was best smelling.
It just is like, It makes me want to live in this world.
It does, right? Like for me, like the tree's fine. The board is very well made, but you know, like the art is fine. It's the character arts on the cards that really do it for me. That and the resources, I think, are just so cool. So the art is so charming and beautiful.
The art is so detailed that it can, again, it almost tells its own story. And you're right, like this game is charming is the right word. It's the best word for it's so charming. And you know, this doesn't even come close to the heaviest games that we've played either. We've played games with more components and more art. But there's just something about it.
Like
and then all the components are different. Like
the fact that they actually made the little berries like almost gummy-like or rubber. Yeah, it's so cool. And then the
squishies.
Yeah. And these gems show up in so many different board games.
Yeah,
but still, it's cool that they actually went and did. They could have easily just made them.
It's the most convenient game we've ever played. No, obviously. Look at this.
Yeah, like I said, you need to. We actually usually get the little dishes from Century games and use those. But
there's just such a confidence, and they just knew. The artists knew, and the designers knew, in every aspect of this game what they were going for. And the art reflects that.
Yeah, I mean, there's even like in the rule book, there's like
authority that they had
over
the game when they were making it.
Poetry and stuff for the world. It's just, I don't know, I love it.
It's refreshing in a day and age where games are trying to be so big and so much to see a game that's so sure of itself.
Okay, so that is Everdell is our #1 game. If you want to check out our description below, you can see each of our individual top 10 lists, see everything that got votes. 18 different games received votes from us, so there's another 8 games you can check out there. I do want to point out, for the first time in Board Crazy list history, we have a game that didn't make the top 10, but did make multiple lists, which is the Grimm Forest, which was my #8 game and Graham's #10 game. It's a great looking game. Will apparently forgot.
I thought it was cute. It was like my #11 or 12.
That bull.
Shut up.
But you can see all the games that we did there as like our honorable mentions. We're not going to cover those here. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave any comments. Obviously, if you have any thoughts on our list and the games on it, the order of it. If you think any of us are idiots for liking any of these games, you know, or if you agree, that's cool too. Or other games, even other games that we've played that you think we overlooked, let us know. You can also, in that description there that you should have opened by now, you can find our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to go to those links and follow us on those platforms. But that is it for now. If you have any ideas for future lists that you would like to see from us, let us know. We will gladly take those into consideration. And just like Three Kingdoms Redux, we will then do those lists like 2.5 years in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, everybody. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time.